Chapter 1, The Magnetism of Sherlock Holmes. If you are like me, you are a fan of Sherlock Holmes. We have read the books and seen the movies and television shows where he outsmarts his nemesis and other trained detectives by focusing in on small but important details that escape others. There is something about this intellectual detective that is magnetic. We are drawn in by his astute logical reasoning, his ability to adopt almost any disguise, and his use of forensic science to solve difficult cases, even before the introduction of modern DNA testing and computers. We respect him, admire him, and want to think like him. What is it about Sherlock Holmes that draws us to him? How is he able to spot things that other trained professionals have missed? Does he have a photographic memory? Or is it something any of us can learn? These are questions Sherlock Holmes aficionados would like answers to, and what I wish to address throughout this book. The great English ghost story writer Montague Rhodes James once said the adventures of Sherlock Holmes differed from his ghostwriting in that his stories did not frighten people as long as they were long ago and far away, while Doyle's stories brought them to the here and now. The Sherlock Holmes stories originated in Victorian England, yet the tales have universal appeal and have withstood time. As a matter of fact, the appeal seems to be escalating, with more and more entertainment involving a main character with Holmes' amazing memory and observation abilities. Example, The Mentalist, Forever, Elementary, etc. Every crime story with a wise detective incorporates some of the methods of Sherlock Holmes. When you get to know Holmes better, you can easily spot these elements and see the similarities. We like the appeal of an adventure and we also enjoy the intrigue of a riddle. It's only human nature to be curious and competitive. We want to see if we can outsmart those who are trained experts. And most of us want to see the criminals get caught. The more cocky, creative, and intelligent the criminal is, the more exciting and intriguing the case becomes. Until the conclusion is reached. People always are curious. We want to know what happened when a crime was committed. We want details. We want to come to our own conclusions before anyone else to see how smart we are and if can solve the crime before the experts do. In addition, solving a crime brings us a sense of safety in an ever growing unsafe world. We want to bring order from chaos. Even if the world around us is crumbling and the story is fictitious, we can escape to a place where order is restored. And Sherlock Holmes brings that order. Even though Sherlock Holmes is brilliant, he is a flawed person, which makes him vulnerable and human. We can relate to him on many levels. So we excuse his flaws, heroine addition, and arrogance because he is able to make the world a better and safer place. He makes mistakes but admits to them and moves on, using what he learned from his mistakes to help him further along in the investigation. The appeal of Doyle's stories first came about because the backdrop was in London, and a familiar place to his initial readers. They could picture the streets, back alleys, and buildings. This allowed them to become a part of the story, even if they were not the characters. When you envision something, you are better able to imagine it. And as you will see in later chapters. This improves your memory. Another aspect of his appeal is that Holmes is not part of the bureaucracy. He is an amateur in their eyes, and just one of them. He has an ingrained sense of law and order, justice, and right from wrong, almost a righteous indignation against someone who has the gall to run afoul of what is right and proper. He disregards the opinions of others he feels are not thorough in their pursuit of the truth, but would rather solve a case quickly and often incorrectly. Writer A. Milne wrote in the preface to his mystery novel, The Red House Mystery, "For the detective himself, I demand that he be an amateur in real life, no doubt. The best detectives are the professional police, but then in real life, the best criminals are professional criminals. In the best detective stories, the villain is an amateur, one of ourselves. We rub soldiers with him, and it is the amateur detective alone who can expose the guilty man. For this is what we really come to, that the detective must have no more special knowledge than the average reader. The reader must be made to feel that if he too had used the light of cool inductive reasoning and the logic of stern remorseless facts, as heaven bless us, we are quite capable of doing, then he too would have fixed the guilt. One would think Milne was speaking of Sherlock Holmes. Now, Chapter 1 Exercise. Since this is a book about not only Sherlock Holmes but memory, let's start out with a simple memory test. Take out, take out a paper and pen and jot down yes or no to the following questions, unless indicated otherwise. Note that this is not an exact memory test but simply a way to see how good your memory is. If you receive a low score on this, it could indicate you may have some problems due to poor health or eating habits. But you should see a specialist who can run more precise tests. To see how well you did and how to score this exercise, refer to Chapter 17 on page 68. Simple memory test. Number 1. Remember these words: banana, camera, rabbit. Do not write this down yet. Number 2. Remember this name and address: Sally Jones, 2724 Kentucky, Amarillo, Texas. Do not write this down yet. Number 3. Have you had trouble remembering the things you have done the last few weeks? Number 4. Do you have a difficult time remembering lists? Number 5. Do you find yourself having a harder time doing simple math like tallying a 10% tip at a restaurant? Number 6. Have you had trouble paying your bills on time because you forget them? Number 7. Do the names of people you see all the time escape you? Number 8. Are you having trouble recognizing people you should know? Number 9. Do you have trouble retrieving words you should know? Number 10. Are simple tasks like turning on the oven or working a blender difficult? 11. Have you been having memory lapses at work that interfere with your ability to do your job? 12. Are you having trouble functioning at home? 13. Do you shrink from social situations because you can't remember people? 14. Name the last 5 presidents of the United States or in that country where you are living in. 15. Name the past 3 vice presidents of your country. 16. What main dishes did you eat for dinner the last 2 nights? 17. Can you describe the last 2 movies you saw? 18. Write down the 3 words you were asked to remember at the beginning of the quiz. Write down the name and address you were asked to remember at the beginning of the quiz. What is the name of this book? For videos on how to memorize like Sherlock Holmes, you can visit sherlockskills.com.